Have you ever felt it? That quiet, unsettling feeling? Not quite sadness, not exactly longing, more like a subtle gap, a space between the life you are living and the life you sense is possible. It might surface while you're driving home from a perfectly ordinary day, or in a moment of stillness when the noise of the world fades. It's the feeling of a gentle emptiness, even when you seemingly have everything you need. This is a universal question, one that has echoed in the human heart across the ages. Why? Why are we here? What is this life for? This isn't just an abstract inquiry for solitary thinkers. It is a deeply personal question. It is a question that connects us all, transcending the boundaries of time and culture. It's the very question that can keep us awake in the quiet hours, staring at the ceiling and wondering about our place in the grand scheme of things. We can broaden the question even further. Why do conscious beings exist at all? Was it a cosmic coincidence? A random, magnificent fluke in an indifferent universe that resulted in beings capable of pondering their own existence? Or is there an underlying pattern, a deeper current of meaning that we are a part of? This debate is as old as thought itself. Some point to the astonishing fine-tuning of the universe, the precise constants that allow life to emerge as a sign of something more. It can feel as if the cosmos was curiously arranged for awareness to blossom. But is this evidence of intention, or simply a reflection of our own limited perspective from within this specific reality? The most profound responses to this grand question have often been surprisingly practical. Rather than getting lost in endless speculation about ultimate origins, which can feel like trying to see the beginning of time itself, the focus shifts to what we can truly know and experience. The focus turns to the tangible reality of our inner world, the presence of unease, of longing, and the possibility of liberation from that very state. This was the journey of a figure who, according to ancient narratives, was born into a life of extreme privilege and refinement. He was sheltered from the harshness of the world, with every comfort and desire attended to. And yet, a profound realization dawned on him. This is not the way to freedom. He saw through the illusion that comfort alone could provide lasting peace. He recognized that even the most pleasurable and protected existence could not shield him from the fundamental realities of life: aging, sickness, loss, and that persistent, nagging sense that something was profoundly missing. This feeling is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is a fundamental part of the human condition. Modern psychology echoes this with the concept of the hedonic treadmill, which shows that once our basic needs are met, increases in wealth and possessions do not lead to lasting increases in happiness. We adapt. The new car becomes ordinary, the bigger house feels familiar, and the desire for the next thing arises, leaving the inner emptiness untouched. This profound sense of discontent is what compelled that seeker to leave behind his life of comfort. He embarked on a search for truth that led him to the brink of death, experimenting with extreme self-denial for years, pushing his body and mind to their absolute limits in the belief that enlightenment could be found through austerity. But he discovered that extremes, whether of indulgence or deprivation, were not the answer. He found a different way, a middle path that rejected both extremes. It was by abandoning these extremes and turning a gentle, unwavering attention inward that he found what he was looking for, not by escaping reality. Neuroscience now suggests that while extreme practices can alter brain states, they rarely provide the sustainable tools for true insight to come, not from forcing the mind, but from understanding it. If having everything doesn't bring lasting happiness, and if the origins of the universe remain a beautiful mystery, what then is the purpose? The answer might be simpler and more profound than you think. If the vastness of the cosmos and our brief moment within it ever makes you feel insignificant, there is another way to see it. It is not about diminishing our place, but about recognizing the profound rarity and potential of what we have, this conscious, feeling, thinking human life. Some worldviews see existence not as a single, linear journey, but as a vast, cyclical process, an intricate web of experiences and transformations across countless lifetimes and varied states of being. Within this immense scope, a human birth is considered an exceptionally rare and precious opportunity. Imagine a vast, dark ocean stretching to every horizon. On the surface of this ocean, a single golden ring floats. Now, imagine a blind turtle surfacing for air only once every 100 years. The likelihood of that turtle, in its random surfacing, putting its head through that single ring, is said to be the odds of obtaining a human life. Its rarity, however, is not its only value. Its true worth lies in its unique balance. A conscious life is not a state of constant bliss, nor is it a realm of unending. It is both. We experience joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain. Why? Because it is within this tension that we find the capacity for true. We can reflect on our experiences, learn from our mistakes, question our assumptions, and make conscious, intentional decisions. As one ancient teaching puts it, the opportunity to hear and understand the deeper truths of existence is hard to obtain. From a scientific standpoint, we can trace the incredible evolutionary journey that led to this billions of years of cosmic and biological evolution, a cascade of chance events leading to a planet that can support life, and the emergence of human with a complex brain allows for something truly extraordinary: metacognition, the ability to think about our own. This self-awareness is what sets us apart and grants us this unique potential. The concept of continuity beyond a single lifetime is complex. It is not about a fixed, unchanging soul simply changing. It is more akin to a river, constantly flowing, its composition changing from moment to moment, yet maintaining a continuity. There is a causal relationship, a connection, but not a static self. A principle in physics states that energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. This offers a rough analogy for the principle of cause and effect that is said to carry forward. What carries over then is not an identity but a momentum, the imprint of our actions, intentions, and thoughts, like seeds planted in the ground. These imprints influence the conditions of future experiences, shaping the ongoing stream of life. This perspective, even when held as a metaphor, can profoundly change how we live. It expands our sense of responsibility, reminding us that our actions have reverberations, fostering a deep sense of interconnectedness with the whole of life. Is this conscious existence a blessing or a burden? Our capacity for thought and self-awareness is the source of both our most profound anxieties and our most sublime experiences. We are capable of creating breathtaking art, profound acts of compassion, and deep poems. We are also capable of creating immense suffering for ourselves. The emphasis has always been on the human mind as the source of all truth. This life is not a sentence to be endured, but an opportunity to be seized, to learn, to grow, to awaken, and to discover a freedom that is not dependent. An opportunity available uniquely to us. We feel deeply and intensely joy, sorrow, anger, fear, love, longing, a constant flowing river of emotions that colors our world and shapes it. But why? From an evolutionary standpoint, emotions are sophisticated survival signals. Fear signals danger. Anger can mobilize us to set boundaries. And love bonds us for mutual protection and serves as a signal to guide our behavior. Yet a deeper look sees emotions not merely as biological alarms, but as messengers that we often misinterpret. We tend to react to them blindly, allowing them to control us, rather than seeking to understand the information they provide. Feelings have been described as mere messengers, not masters. The instruction is not to suppress or deny them, but to understand them, to see them for what they are. Transient, impermanent phenomena that arise and pass away like weather patterns in the sky. Modern neuroscience supports this view, showing that emotions are the brain's predictive signals, its best guess about what is happening. They are not inherently good or bad. It is our relationship to them, whether we cling, resist, or observe, that determines if they lead to suffering or to wisdom. And this leads us to the heart of the matter. Why do we suffer? Suffering is not synonymous with pain. Pain is an inevitable part of life. Physical injury, sickness, loss, and the sting of these. However, suffering is different. Suffering is what we add to it. It is the resistance, the mental complaining, the clinging to what is pleasant, and the pushing away of what is not. It is the stories we tell ourselves about our lives. As one ancient saying goes, suffering follows an unwise thought. as the wheel follows the foot of the ox. The idea itself is not the primary issue. It is our attachment to it, our identification with it, that creates the struggle. We can see several layers of this suffering. The first is the obvious one, physical and mental pain. The second is the suffering that comes from change. The fact that all pleasant experiences are impermanent and will end. The third, and most subtle, is the suffering inherent in a conditioned existence, the fundamental instability and uncertainty of nothing is solid or permanent. Our resistance to this fundamental truth is a deep and constant source of unease. Consider this. We spend our lives chasing things we believe will make us happy. A new possession, a milestone, an ideal relationship. But even when we acquire them, the happiness is fleeting. We are like someone trying to quench their thirst with salt water. The teaching here is not to deny the reality of distress, but to understand its root cause. And the cause is identified as craving. Craving for pleasure, craving for existence to be a certain way, even craving for non-existence. These cravings, these attachments, keep us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Furthermore, the very sense of a solid, separate self that we work so hard to protect and satisfy is also a source of suffering. We cling to this idea of I, defending it, bolstering it, and seeking validation for it. Yet, upon close examination, this self is elusive, more a process than a thing. It is like trying to grasp a handful of water. The radical insight is that in our direct experience, there is simply seeing, hearing, feeling, and thinking, without a permanent, separate observer behind it all. This is a profound shift in understanding that takes patience and gentle inquiry to realize. So, after all the questioning, the searching, the unsettling truths about unease and impermanence, what is the answer? What is the fundamental purpose? It is surprisingly simple, yet infinitely profound. We are here to end unnecessary suffering, and in doing so, to discover a true, lasting sense of peace and contentment. That is the essence. It has been said that just as the vast ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so too the deepest teaching has one taste, the taste of freedom. Freedom from the inner struggle, freedom from the compulsive cycle of craving and aversion. This may sound deceptively simple. Is that all there is? But its simplicity is its power. It is the simplicity of a fundamental truth that our complex minds and lives often obscure. This purpose is not about a grand cosmic assignment given to us by an external force. It is not about fulfilling a predetermined destiny. It is about waking up to the reality of our own experience and finding liberation within that very experience. The word for an awakened one simply means one who is awake. It is not a title for a special few, but a statement of a potential state of being available to all. It is not about becoming something you are not, but about realizing what you already are beneath the layers of conditioning and story. This awakening is profoundly practical. It is about understanding the mechanics of your own mind and heart, seeing clearly how you create your own distress, and then using that understanding to make different choices. One of the core frameworks for understanding this is the principle of dependent origination, the deeply interconnected chain of causes that leads to suffering. It often begins with a fundamental misperception of reality. This misunderstanding fuels craving and clinging, which in turn leads to suffering. The revolutionary insight is that this chain can be broken. By seeing the links clearly, we can loosen the grip of attachment and begin to free ourselves from the cycle. This path does not seek to eradicate emotions. It is not about becoming detached or cold. It is about learning to relate to our inner world in a new way, to see feelings as teachers, to be present with them without being enslaved by them. The guidance is clear. Do not pursue the past. Do not lose yourself in the future. The past is gone. The future is not yet here. Looking deeply at life as it is, in this very moment, one dwells in stability and freedom. We live to transform suffering, not to avoid it or transcend it in a disembodied way, but to alchemize it, to use it as the very fuel for growth and awakening. The lotus flower is a powerful symbol for this. It grows from the mud at the bottom of a pond. The mud represents the difficulties, the challenges, the suffering of life. The beautiful lotus represents wisdom, compassion, and freedom. The beauty emerges from the mud. It does not grow in spite of it, but because of it. The teaching is not solely about the problem of suffering, but about suffering and the end of suffering. It offers a practical path, a way to transform our relationship with life itself, leading to a happiness that is not dependent on external conditions, but that arises from within. This is cultivated through profound states of mind, loving kindness, compassion, joy in the well-being of others, and equanimity. These are not passive feelings, but active practices that reshape our consciousness. And perhaps the most beautiful paradox is that true freedom is found in connection. Helping others, serving others, recognizing our profound interconnectedness with all beings. This is not just altruism, it is a direct path to our own liberation. So where do we find this freedom, this awakening? Is it in a distant land, a secluded retreat, or a future time? The most radical answer is that it is here, right here, in this very moment, in this very breath, in the utterly ordinary reality of your everyday life. The state of liberation is not a place you go to, but a way of being. It is a way of seeing, a way of relating to the world, to yourself, and to your experiences. As one teaching states, the mind is the forerunner of all things. Our thoughts and perceptions shape our reality. If we see through the lens of craving and aversion, we experience a world of lack and threat. If we see through the lens of wisdom and compassion, we experience a world of connection and possibility. This is a quiet revolution. It is not about changing the world out there, but about transforming the world in here, changing how we see, how we think, how we respond. So how do we cultivate this in our daily lives? It begins with a simple yet profound practice: mindful awareness. Paying attention, being present, not getting lost in the stories of the past or the anxieties of the future, but fully engaging with whatever is happening right now. The instruction is profoundly simple. When walking, know you are walking. When eating, know you are eating. It sounds almost too simple, but this is the heart of transformation, bringing our full, non-judgmental attention to the activities we usually perform on autopilot. This is not merely a philosophical idea, it is supported by science. Clinical studies show that mindfulness practices can physically reshape the brain, strengthening neural pathways associated with attention, emotional regulation, and empathy. They can reduce stress and improve overall well-being. It can start with just 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes of gently attending to your breath, to the sensations in your body, to the sounds around you. 5 minutes of simply being, without trying to change anything. This is how we begin to rewire our nervous system for presence, for peace, for purpose. It is about finding meaning not in grand, abstract concepts, but woven into the fabric of the ordinary. Washing the dishes can be a meditation. Eating a meal can be an act of profound gratitude. Walking down a busy street can be a journey of discovery. It is about appreciating this precious human life, this singular opportunity, and not sleepwalking through our days. It is about working with our emotions skillfully, not battling them, but engaging with them. The middle way is key. Neither suppressing difficult feelings nor being swept away by them. It is about acknowledging them, allowing them their space, and listening to their message without letting them take the wheel. And suffering itself can be transformed. Our most difficult experiences, our deepest pains, can become our greatest teachers. They can show us our resilience, our capacity for empathy, and the depth of our own heart. There are even practices that involve using the breath to consciously transform suffering, breathing in with an acknowledgement of pain, our own or others, and breathing out with a wish for relief and compassion. This counterintuitive approach can open the heart in remarkable ways, transforming pain into a connective force rather than an isolating one. To make the most of this conscious birth is to recognize its rarity and potential. It means cultivating the qualities that lead to freedom, ethical integrity, steady awareness, and penetrating wisdom. These three support each other like the legs of a tripod. The final empowering message from one great teacher was, "Be a light unto yourself." The path is not about blind faith in an external authority, but about finding your own way, using your own capacity for inquiry and understanding to navigate toward inner freedom. And so, It turns out the answer to the great why is not something we find outside of ourselves. It is something we recognize, something we embody. It is something that has been here all along within us, waiting patiently for our attention to turn inward and awaken to it.